Due to the recent hurricane, I'm not posting a Cartoon Palooza review this week. Let me put it to you this way. This storm was a mess, and it's going to take me a while to catch up with everything. How would I not bore you with the personal stuff and get to the movies I saw? How about Wreck-It Ralph, starring John C. Reilly as an unhappy video game villain who wants to be a good guy. Along the way, he travels to other game consoles in the arcade on his mission, which I beg to ask the question, are there still arcades in America? Anyways, Ralph goes from a Halo Gears of War mesh to a cruise control Mario Kart game called Sugar Rush. In Hero's Duty, we get the video game characters like Sergeant Calhoun that reflect today's games. More violence, characters that move with bigger frame rates, and Skrillex playing in the background. That's right, there's a song by Skrillex, and it is awesome! The first two acts of the film is where most of the pacing seems right. We see Ralph interact with other game characters that are licensed, like Pac-Man and Sonic, to the more obscure characters like the bartender from Tapper. All I keep thinking to myself is, where's Crash Bandicoot or Kazooie from Tekken? But then that shows how young I am. I especially like how each character from different games would have a different frame rate based on the time the game was made. For instance, the game Wreck-It Ralph comes from is an older 8-bit game where the characters would move from keyframe to keyframe without anything in between. It's a nice change from seeing all computer animated characters move the same way. However, if the movie's appeal is that the software world of the game characters is their own, then why can't the human world be live action? Whereas it would be a combination of live action animation like in Mary Poppins or Who Framed Roger Rabbit. However, this is more of a nitpick and it doesn't matter irregardless. When Ralph gets to Sugar Rush, this is where the movie slows down. I'm slightly mixed on it, mainly because I don't think this is necessarily bad. Most of what makes it good is the film's villain, King Candy, and Vanellope von Schweetz, who the filmmakers did a good job making her like a 10-year-old Daffy Duck, particularly in her designs, which looks like something Chuck Jones would draw up.
Hey, are you a hobo?
No, I'm not a hobo, but I am busy. Okay, so you go home.
What's that? Didn't hear you. Your breath is so bad it made my ears numb.
Listen, I try to be nice.
Nice.
You're mimicking
You're
me.
mimicking me.
Okay. That is rude, and this conversation is over.
The film also introduces a conflict she heavily has that relies us, the audience, to get emotionally invested. However, I wasn't really, but it wasn't terrible, and I could empathize with the characters. It just wasn't as deep as it was in Paranorman or even in Frankenweenie. Another problem I had is when they mixed the Disney morals of being yourself with the pop culture references. At times the movie feels less like Disney and more like DreamWorks, though it's not a big part of the film and it comes out less like Shrek and more like Aladdin. I know people have been comparing the movie to Who Framed Roger Rabbit because of the menagerie of licensed video game characters making appearances, to Toy Story where non-sentient characters have lives of their own when the humans aren't looking. However, I'm reminded more of Aladdin mainly because the film mixes the pop culture with Disney morals pretty well. At times it can get grating, but other times the film becomes a joy to watch.
10,000 years will give you such a crick in the neck. Hey. Aha! You wouldn't hit a guy with glasses, would you? Aha! You hit a guy with glasses. That's well played.
I'll even go as far as to say that the movie is made for nerds. No, I'm not saying that in a bad sense either. Coming from a nerd myself, I can say that it delivers what nerds like. Zombies, good storytelling, video game references, comic book elements, misunderstood characters, a good team up, so on and so forth. If anything, this is the movie I wanted Scott Pilgrim to be, and it gives me what I wanted where I thought that movie failed. Rather than looking corny in a live-action setting, it feels appropriate where a film that relies on cartoon imagery to be, well, a cartoon. People have been saying that there should be a sequel to this movie which would explore more worlds in the arcade. My thoughts are the complete opposite. Have you seen the sequels Disney produces? Yeah, that's what I thought. The movie was fine as a standalone, and it keeps Disney from succumbing to the image of a generic animation American studio. It's nice to see a studio consistently have an image to uphold since they first started the company. Other studios, I can't speak for them. So in short, I recommend watching Wreck-It Ralph irregardless if you're a gamer or not.
Oh, good. The cops. Hold still. Ow!
Take that.
What are you doing?
One game at a time, Ralph.